Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We do have another interview with Grant this time. It's been a while since we caught up with Grant. Firstly, as well, I sound like shit, so apologies. Been sick for a while. Grant looks like shit because he's been working too hard. So these things,
This is
these things
this is
happen.
where people see the dark part of game dev.
100%, dude.
I am
But
fucked.
we're going to try and talk a bit about the open world, the capturing mechanics and stuff like that, and hopefully get a bit more of a deep understanding of what's going on there. Bit of general chit chat, all that sort of shit. So let's get into it, dude. So first of all, how's your work schedule been? I know when we were trying to tee this up, you're sleeping at ridiculous hours. You're not sleeping. How is work life at the moment?
There's no life; it's just work. There's no balance there. But the thing is, right? We went a long time like on this kind of fairy cloud, fairy dust wave of positivity, and everything was amazing. And we weren't in mainstream, so there was never any like urgency, or it was purely just passion. Like that first 18 months of development, it was just
Yeah.
straight passion from the team, and now we get to see what the team's really made of, because now everything's not positive. And I've actually noticed a lot of the people on the team have become more motivated. There was obviously that period of like, what the hell is happening? Like, what is this? And then once you accept it, it's like, well, the only way to move forward from here is just to build our way out of it. That was the only way from the start anyway, in my mind. Like, we had to compete with mainstream or it was useless.
Yeah.
Like, we weren't going to like maybe we'd have some kind of wave for 2 years, but unless we really, really competed with a mainstream AAA IP, we would fade out of existence pretty quickly. So now
100%.
we get to see what the real grind is like.
Yeah, and I think you guys have extended way beyond what you initially planned with your initial expectations for the game. Is that fair to say?
Times lost track. There's some stuff that was just always needed to happen after play testing that we realized and stuff like that. We'll get onto it on this call, but I think the majority of stuff we've just wanted to make the best game possible, and that is more fundamental to us than missing a deadline or something like that. Like, we don't want to cyberpunk it, and we've just got to stick to that. I think a lot of people in the community now have kind of accepted things as well, and the people who are still supporting us and positive in the community are just waiting to see us deliver. And up until this point, I feel like we've always delivered. They might be late, but there's that,
Yeah.
hype. There's that hype around, like, we're probably not going to like screw it up. So once it is there, it's going to be good.
Yeah, for me, it was sort of like until beta, it was always like you wanted stuff. Now that I've played the beta, it's like I'm cool. The game's real. It's like obviously it's incomplete, but you can see the fundamentals and the foundation for it. So now I'm just like I'm cool. When the game's ready, it's ready, and then we go ham. But like having the beta and like just seeing the actual game is like that. Yes, I'm fully in, but now I'm happy to wait to get the product. And I think that's sort of what a lot of people have come to now as well.
I mean, that's great, but honestly, it was always going to get way, way better than that. So if
Yeah.
if it's given that effect with so little, when we start building on top of it, which we have, it's totally changed now.
Yeah.
I've played in the last 2 weeks an update with the checkpoints and new characters in and stuff like that. Like, it's cool. It feels like holy shit. Like,
Yeah.
there wasn't much progress out in the communities outside of character leaks and stuff like that, but we're very close now to having something cool, a big update. All the people who played the beta will get back into it, and we've fixed those problems that were crucial to the beta feeling crap, like the leaderboards, like we were speaking about before the call started.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and like the dev blog from Aaron that he dropped last night, that was really promising, looking at everything that they've developed in the actual auto battler itself, because I didn't realize everything was coming. Like he said, augments are just about there as well and stuff like that. So having all that stuff in, which completely changes the dynamic of it, because at the moment it is just a very basic skeleton of the game. But once you implement all that extra stuff, it becomes a lot more complex. But the open world, you guys released that little bit of gameplay type footage of the open world.
Yep.
And you guys said, it's early. You've said a couple times, that's nowhere near where it's going to be at. So how far past that are you guys?
The two big things is the overworld. And I think I mentioned this on our very first call. We were always going to try and treat it like a pack of cards, like you're paying to access your characters.
Yep.
And that might not have been enough. And the only feedback really from the video out was that the overworld didn't feel exciting enough. So that has come around now, where it kind of seems like if that video we're putting out, the only feedback that people had was either the movement mechanics or the boringness of it, like the lack of anything attacking you or stuff like that. And I ideated with Aaron a way to solve that using the least amount of work while getting the most out of it. And the solution we have, I'm sure you'll share some of the images and stuff like that, is that, and sorry, I'm not super excited. I'm just tired at the moment.
Yeah, no, he's had a lazy day on the couch watching Netflix. He's done no work in the last 2 weeks, so he's just a bit tired.
Dude, I'm on the brink of an anxiety attack. He's going, wowee. No. So, like, it is exciting, but we've decided to try and make the harvestable plants be able to attack you, but with affinities and classes. So we're trying to, we had this issue where you've got basically two games. You've got the auto battler and then the overworld. And there was nothing you could do in the overworld that took information you might learn in the auto battler or vice versa, which the predominant thing surrounding the strategies is the synergy system. So if water beats fire, kind of thing like that. So we thought, what if we make it so that you can attack the plants before harvesting them? And it would mean that wakes in the world, if you saw a wake and a plant's going to kill you, you have to kill the plant first before getting to the wake. It adds a little bit of complexity without making the gameplay hard, like a casual game can still do it, still grind, but there's just stuff you have to be aware of, like plants attacking you. But then also having the synergy system. So if you go and build a water sword for the auto battler, that water sword will work great on a fire-based plant. So you can swap out your inventory in the overworld to the weapons that you've obtained for the auto battler as well, and then go in and get bonuses for killing those type of plants. So if you want to just use one weapon and you don't have all of the weapons, you'll still be able to kill the plants and harvest, but it's not going to be anywhere near as efficient as if you've got all of the weapons, so that you can go through one tap or double tap the plants to get rid of them quickly as you progress through the game.
Yeah. From what I'm seeing on these images that we got on screen at the moment, is like you've got different styles of plants as well, with like different sort of attack patterns. So some you might want to shoot from range, some you might want to get in close. So like it gives you a little bit of versatility in the play. So like this one here, absolutely. For instance, it looks like it's radiating that sort of the flame out of it, and you got to shoot it under the bottom to break it so that you can get close, and then you can go and harvest it and stuff like that. So like it's, to me, like that's like, it doesn't seem that much different to other open world games where, you've got a little grunt enemy that has no meaning in the world. It's a standard model and you've just got to kill it. But at least this is something that you have to interact with. So it's like, it may not be in a character that you're fighting, but it's something that's meaningful, that you want to pay attention to it so that you can actually get what it's got, stuff like that. So some of these designs are really cool for plants too. Like,
exactly. So like, we're not trying to make it just you have to walk up and just hit every plant the exact same. Like, some will require jumping, some will require your jetpack to get over the top of attacks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, we're not trying to make it just, like you're hitting a tree with an axe kind of thing. So we'll start develop once the capturing flow is complete. We'll jump on to getting one or two of the plants in the world to test that flow.
Yeah.
Just populate the world with those plants, see how it feels. Personally, I feel like that's a great way to edge ourselves closer to getting fully interactive alluvials in the overworld. The reason why that's so difficult and plants are a lot easier is because we have 150 alluvials, and each one of those, like, what if Squiz has to move around the world? Does he, how do you animate him moving over rocks and stuff like that? That's
Yeah.
just one example. There's to do it right, to do it to the standard of the actual look of the characters is just a lot of work, which we are going to do eventually. Eventually, the team will run out of stuff on
Yep.
what we're doing now. Like, we'll cross that mountain, and then we have to go and update everything. Start getting the characters in the overworld, because I personally feel long term seeing a holographic Ramfire in the overworld and then chasing it down is about as maxed as we can take this game
Yes.
without making a totally different game. Just having alluvials that you have to chase, attack, or whatever to stun it, and then go into the wake and follow it. So that is the ultimate goal. But I feel like this is a great test for us to implement mechanics in the overworld, like the fighting with the weapons.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be cool swapping between a pistol for some plants that are better from long range, and then as you get closer, you might be able to jump from a distance, fly down. We're working on new animations as well. One of the things that Alex and that was also mentioned in that video, people were like, the movement feels a bit shit. Well, the reason why is it was the exact same movement system that we had back when the trailer was released
Yeah.
in the overworld. And like, we've done all these animations, but there's a big difference between that and getting it
Into the
implemented
player. Yeah.
in the world, and now Alex is on that basically full time, and we've updated to UE5 now since the last time I spoke to you,
Yeah.
which gives us the ability to use some of the metahuman animations as a base for like non-player characters in the overworld now. So
What was the catalyst for that? Because like last time we spoke, you like there's no like example, or that it's not it's viable for us to go to UE5. That's sort of like the thought I got from last time. What's changed with UE? Like, is there a fundamental change to it that's made you go to?
Yeah, we were doing internal testing and not telling anyone. I was in fact telling people in the community like it's not going to be a thing, because at the time we were doing tests and it wasn't like a locked off. We're like, we've got enough devs on the team now where they're curious. Obviously, the thing you want to do with a team like this is the best shit possible.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to start a game and do what other games have notoriously failed with, which is update their engine halfway through or change engine. And then all of a sudden it's like 5 years later, you're like, what the hell happened? Because
Yeah.
you got to repurpose out. UE5 was, kudos to Epic Games because it's an amazing engine. The update process was way less complex than we thought it would be. Learning UE5 takes about 10 minutes compared to UE4. It's all kind of similar, but we get a lot of really good benefits from it. Not that make a huge difference visually yet, but things like the
What
nanite system, where we can have,
workflow? Does it like make the workflow a lot smoother and easier for the team, or is that?
it's little things, right? Like there are things that you probably might like, better sound integration and better ways for the animators to blend animation in the overworld. There are
Yep.
certain things, but like nanite as well for the graphics. Like we've got all these assets, right, that I've shown in leaks being retopologized manually. And a lot of game studios would look at that and just go, why? And the reason why we do that is so that we can maximize the poly count so that every asset is tailored to our world. Like, what are our performance specs that need to be there? What resolution does a rock at X size need to be? We really, really, I mean, it was amazing as a first time studio that we've been able to get that organized, where we've got the luxury of doing low poly stuff. And we weren't pushing that because everything had to be perfectly balanced for
Yep.
the level streaming. And it's like when you run around the world, eventually you're going to enter a new area that has to load into Unreal, and you want that to be seamless. You don't want someone on a laptop on the lowest spec system like stuttering as they enter a new area. UE5 solves that with Nanite, and apparently there's an update coming which will finalize that, because there's a couple of caveats to that we got to work through. But essentially UE5 was something that we knew wasn't going to make a major difference graphically, but was going to make certain dev things much easier. So that's really cool. Things like the movement system. Alex was holding off implementing a movement system because now Unreal, it's like by default has a base movement system, an inverse kinematics movement system that just feels more natural and fluid. And that's not the same as obviously island jumping and using a jetpack and doing flips, but just the basic human movement. Like when you move left, her shoulders jiggle a bit. Like little things like in our current game, you move left and she's just sliding because that we implemented that in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That will feel amazing in the game.
Having said that, the jetpack looks pretty clean in that like the visuals of the jetpack, how you get like the sort of blurred on the sides. Like I thought that would look pretty clean already.
It looks super clean because you've got Alex and the other animators who are from film. They're not used to doing game animation. They're at a standard of mainstream Hollywood movies.
Yeah.
Like that's the standard they're at. So some games have teams like that, but maybe a game that requires that level of animation is more like story driven, and so there's just a lot more animation. In our case, the animators get to really focus and make sure that everything's cinematic level animation.
Yeah, and it looks clean. And with that open world, like with the plants and stuff, that's still a lot of work to make these plants do that type of interaction. But what's your sort of feel on what the gameplay of the open world will feel like? Will it feel like you're constantly, dodging plants, that stuff? Or is it only like when you, like, will there be like, your main paths where you're just cruising around? Then if you want to go get to something, it's going to be obstacles, or like what's the sort of feel that you think it'll end up with?
We've got verticality designed into the levels now. That was the one thing that we had with the jetpack and the jumping. We started, as soon as that mechanic came into the game, we started readjusting all the levels to really make it feel like if you enter an area, you've got to work with verticality and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you don't have anything attacking you at any point, it's just super casual. You can sit back with your eyes closed and kind of just wade your way through the level.
Yeah.
This will make it so that we, and obviously some playtesting is going to be required.
100%, yeah.
For me, it's not about making the game an action game where it's like constant danger and you got to fucking do crazy shit. It's just got to feel like you got to pay attention.
Yeah.
So, keep it casual. We're still trying to be Mario style, like not
engaging enough without it to like making it feel like a chore to get through. That's the sort of balance you're looking for.
Eventually, we would update the game to have the characters in the overworld, and by then, the player base is probably gotten used to the way it is now.
Yeah,
and it'd be easier to jump up a level in difficulty and add characters to fight in the world itself.
Yeah.
These are long-term goals for us, but I just like, you can hook up with a mod for, it's an app for Windows, like DS4. You can hook up your controller, and we've mapped the controls in the game to make it so you can use a PS controller. And like that totally changed everything for me. I was running around and like all of those videos, every time in UE4, you jiggle your mouse just a tiny bit. It's like, And you notice in the overworld video that we leaked, the movement and the flow of the camera was just smoother. And that was because I'm terrible at aiming with a controller, but moving around from a casual point of view, just like picking up the controller and just gliding through the level, I just sat there like,
That's probably one of the most commonly asked questions I see in comments and stuff is it going to be on console? And the answer is no, because you can't get it on console yet. But to have controller, that's huge for a lot of people. Like, cause for me, when I'm playing games on a PC, it feels like I have to be one. Like it's a different mindset when you're playing on a keyboard to when you're playing with a mouse with a controller. That's what I feel. I feel like I'm more relaxed when I'm playing with a controller. Uh,
100%. Like I would almost say by default, controller would be the go-to.
yeah,
In fact, I would say that. I once you play both, there's no way I would make. But obviously, there's the controller has to work in the auto battler.
yeah,
That a bit trickier, but it's
yeah,
doable. 100%, it's doable. So for me, that was just life changing. I just started just running around the world, and with everything maxed, I was like, wow, like it reset me back to day one, where I felt like I wasn't testing the game. I was just playing it, like it
yes,
just clean slate. And
yeah,
I was like, I got to a point where everyone was like, I'd be happy to just run around the overworld for ages. I don't need anything else. And I was like, you're full of shit. Like eventually you're going to get bored shitless.
yeah.
And I just got out of my head that was even a possibility. But I do feel like with a controller, you could just casually, cool, you pay to enter a region and you just want to just sit there for 3 hours. Instead of doing it in one, that's your day. You might only play 2-3 regions a week as a casual, and you get the experience.
And that's the big thing for me. Like, no matter what the prices of travel and shards end up being, it's like it's that experience of, yes, you're paying money to do it, but like I always compare it to trading cards. You're paying money for a pack, but you get like entertainment for that pack on top of just what's in the pack. So like that's the thing for me that like takes it to the next level of trading cards. It's like you get to have fun opening that pack.
Well, that's the next thing that I wanted to speak about. So we've hit a point, right, where we've worked so much on the foundation of the game. We haven't had specific teams created to work on the moments in the game that make Illuvium Illuvium. Like one of the things we absolutely, like Ben and I from the very start set out to do was just obliterate how Pokemon does capturing, because it is so outdated now. And cool, as a 12-year-old kid, having the Game Boy there and the ball shake and you not capture it was life-changing and amazing.
Yeah.
We're 34, 30, 40 years old now. It's just lame. Like they never innovated on that. And we really, really, really wanted to go fucking super AAA on that. So we've like built an internal.
They never did, but the fuckers keep me coming back every time just to fucking throw that ball.
We're not failing on those moments where it has to feel better than Pokemon. Like a player who's loved Pokemon their whole life has to go through that flow and come out the other side going, why didn't Pokemon do it like that?
Yep.
That's the goal. And we know what that's going to take because we've sat there with all of the leads on a task force, basically, where we're just like, let's get everyone who's essential to making this happen quickly. And let's all be a part of the ideation process. Let's see what we can do as a team and show people that we're not fucking around. It's not just foundations anymore. It's like our own way of bringing that AAA cinematic feel to the overworld, and that's the capturing side. So in that video, complete dog shit. It was a complete hack where you went in. It was some crappy tester.
Yeah,
it would not be like that.
It was kind of you to show us a lost battle as well, and then you had to respawn. You know, that was good of you just to show everything. Yeah.
It was just terrible, right? Like that was almost embarrassing. We had a talk internally where we're like, kind of got to show the loop of the overworld, but we're not fucking around. Like we know when stuff is shit. We'll be super egotistical when we know we've pulled stuff off and we know we've done good stuff. But if stuff's terrible, people can respect that, right? People can respect when someone can say their own work is dog shit.
Yes.
And
you're very good at saying your own work's dog shit. You say it every time about everything. A lot of it is.
Yeah. A lot of it is until it isn't.
Yeah.
You know, you can't get in your head. You can't become delusional. You've always got to check yourself. Sometimes I might be a little cutthroat about things, but I mean, that's what's required.
Yeah.
You know, and that's so with the capturing side of things, we've decided not to share that until there's it's done.
A full that's what we're deploying in the game. You'll see this, you'll want to do this. Like this is what you want.
It'll be in the beta. Yeah. But say you load the game up right? You've got so much at this point with all the coverage you've had on the game and been in the community. This needs to be good, because if it's dog shit and you're playing it, you're gonna it's gonna be heartbreaking.
So the thing for me is, because we spoke about this one time a while back when you were streaming in Discord and we were just having a chat in there. Like, however you guys decide to like do the theater of the capturing and stuff like that, the fact is capturing is always going to be I don't know, adrenaline pumping, if that's the way you call it, because when you think about it, like, especially when you go to like the higher end of things, when you think about like, you know, you find a holo. So say you've got your different tiers of shards and you know, you find a tier 1 holo. I don't give a fuck about the cost. I'm using a tier 5 shard to get my 100%, whatever, you know, my highest percentage capture rate on that thing as I can, because I don't want to miss it. I want to capture that. But you will get to the point where you're fighting a tier 5 holo, and tier 5 shard is the best you can use, which I'm assuming won't have a 100% capture rate. Is that correct? Or it's not finalized yet?
Yeah, no, Ben's not going to give you the values for that.
Yeah, anyway. But it won't be guaranteed. So like you go into that.
This is a big talk, right? All of the leads have gotten on multi-hour long ideation meetings. Taking this dead serious, like, how do we go AAA on this and how do we blow people away? And all of the details have come out, like what needs to happen to show people the rarity of that character. And that we've gone through ideations of like, do we show it as a user interface thing? And we've always come back to like, fuck that, let's try and make it as cinematic as possible. So if it's a holo Ramfire that's dropped, it's got a holographic VFX underneath it. Like if you saw the leak we put out of the
restraining,
the imprisonment,
that's it.
The more harder to catch alluvials will have a bigger beam coming up from underneath that showcases their affinity. Right. Or the color, right? So that, like, if it's a high level Ramfire, it's going to have more of a glow, and then you might have an Atlas Stage 1 next to it that just kind of looks. The Ramfire needs to look like it's popping off the screen, like holy shit.
Yeah, and it's like it's a no-brainer for casual players. It's like they jump in, the big bright thing that's like glowing in your face saying, I'm the one to catch. At least casual players go, okay, I get the one that looks the fanciest. That's probably the best one for me to catch at this stage. And then if you have like an over-the-top animation for like a holo, so if it's like, you know, you got a Ramfire there, but you've got a Ramfy that's a holo, you want to light that bitch up because like that's the one you want.
And we won't get that. We won't get those various animations in straight away. But Alex has already said to me, 100%, the holo characters need a different animation. That's got to be crazy. You know, there's also things like, remember in the very, very first trailer we did that showed the battle encounter starting, where there was that holographic bubble around the dome?
Can I show that? You happy for me to put that up?
Yeah, I mean, that was from the first trailer. So
no, I mean this one.
Oh, no. That's, I mean, whatever. Show it.
No. It's all right.
Show it. Because it's not the complete flow. It's not the complete flow. This is the one without the music in it and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is without, Yeah,
okay. So
we can edit this out later if you change your mind. It's all good.
That first, you bastard.
You sent it to me. You said I could use the stuff you sent me. You said I could use the stuff you sent me.
Okay. So we're in the capturing phase where you've defeated all the characters. There's something called dimensional stability.
Yep.
So the whatever dimension you got pulled into, that when you follow the character into the bubble, right, it's spawned in here.
Which I'm still keen to hear find out the lore on all this stuff. Like I'm really excited because Aaron does work on that stuff.
It's coming. So as the capturing, if you fail to capture a character, the dimensional stability decreases, and this orb around the scene starts getting fucking crazy. The music that Ben has been working on and the sound that Nico has been working on is just like ridiculous kind of Nolan level. Like you feel like you're in some, I don't know.
Audio is top notch everywhere in this project. Like that's one thing I've said from the very start, from the very first trailer when I first opened the website. The audio, it like gives you goosebumps.
maybe maybe you can put the version up with audio because it's kind of not edited in.
Yeah, I'll edit it in. Yeah, that's all right.
It's crazy. I'll send you the version with the audio. So that, like, say you've got that tier 5 Ramfire, right? And you want to use your tier 5 shard on it and it fails. The dimensional stability is going to collapse quite a lot because that was a high level character. If you use a higher level shard, it'll collapse less, but you'll hit a point where that orb is like, this is my last chance to get this guy.
Okay, so you'll be able to have multiple chances at the same alluvial.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. So
stability,
dude, that adds to the theater of it. That's sick. I love it. So like you when you proc that encounter and it's hollow from the portal, or I'm assuming the portal's going to tell you there's a hollow battle in there. You're like, holy fuck, and then you go into it and you're like, it's a fucking Ramfire hollow. And then you're like, wait, I might not catch this thing. Then you have one shot and then you have another one. You're like, this is my last shot at like a 20, 30, 40% chance, whatever it is. Like that's exciting. Now you've got
exciting. Some orchestra choir where the music is getting wacky and you're feeling like everything's collapsing and you're getting that claustrophobic feeling where the sound is getting brighter.
Sick.
The board itself will start vaporizing up like kind of... remember in Infinity War?
Yeah, where everyone starts going,
Yeah, the board, but glowing. So the board's going to start disintegrating around you. Mozart's animation will change to get more, like when he tries to capture, instead of him just casually trying to pull it through, he'll be like really trying to pull the character through the shard. So we've implemented multiple moments of jeopardy where it can break. Yeah. If you use a tier 1 shard on a tier 5 character, that you don't want to wait 10 seconds because the odds of that happening are like next to nothing. So similar to a Pokeball, where if you just did a really crap one, it just popped out straight away.
Yeah.
You're like, there was never any chance of that. But maybe.
But you can. Nothing better than when you get to Mewtwo and you throw a Pokeball and it goes like 1, 2. Are we fucking going to get it? Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So we've got those moments, right? So Pokemon lays the blueprint. But graphically, cinematically, and we've added dimensional stability over the top. We feel like that gives us an edge. And
instead of the Pokemon fled, it's you're fucking it's coming. Like the whole place is going to explode. Collapsed. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole encounter collapsed.
It's like Inception type stuff.
So we know we're going to pull this off.
Yeah.
Like we're excited about it. I haven't seen the team. The thing with, like, I've come from print before this, right? Very quick satisfaction on jobs. At the time, it didn't feel like it. Like a month-long job was like a fucking slog. Like to spend a month on a single print image as a team or whatever, even just solo, is like a long time for one image. To spend a year, 2 years on a game, there's so many, like, it's like Tour de France. Like, you got to save some energy for the finish line. And with all of the market going to shit and everything kind of being a bit somber and the community, a lot of them leaving and running off, being pissed off, we've come back from that. I feel like with this capturing workflow, totally rejuvenated from that passion standpoint because it's fresh. It's not just, hey, let's slowly improve and chip away and get it to AAA. The foundation's there. Like, this is something brand new that we know that cool. The overworld might be a little bit boring at times, like it might feel a bit casual, but if you find a hard to catch character, you're going to know that that's a hard to catch character. We're going to shove it down your face that like we will make it streamer friendly so that you can get that.
To have those moments.
And then holy fuck, what if you fail to capture that character? Like,
that's a good clip.
You're sitting there at the end just going like, what the fuck? You kind of like want to go back to it being chilled for a little bit. Like, what the hell just happened? Like,
this clip needs to get 1 million views for me to make my cash back that I lost. I'm missing the holo.
But it's from a design standpoint, streamer friendly.
100%.
Like, cool. the overworld with plants in it that you can attack and stuff, it's still not going to be some Horizon Forbidden West or Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
It'll make it more interactive. It will solve the problem. But there are other things in the game as well that we're developing, like the fusing that you saw in the trailer. Like that'll be something that you go into that overworld and you've just caught that third stage 2 Ramfire to get Ramfy to get Ramfire. Then you go in, when you fuse that character, that's going to happen on the top of Sancta Mesa Hub in a drone we haven't shown, where you insert the 3. So you bring your inventory up, bring your inventory up, cycle through your cards. You'll see the 3 stage 2 Ramfies. You'll drag those into the slot, confirm if you want to fuse, and then just like the trailer, those particles will swirl up, and we've leaked the effects for that. That's something that Peter works like a week and a half, 2 weeks on, that morph the effects. So with the sound, with the Gaudi animation beaming it up, with the chance of it when you're fusing going hollow as well, and being in that Sancta Mesa setting on the top of the platform, kind of looking out at the overworld, you're seeing the character in the overworld briefly for that moment. When it fuses and spawns in, it'll do its taunt and its fuse animation. So the other thing Alex and the team are working on now is signature animations.
Yeah,
so
we've seen a couple. They look cool. Yeah.
Yep. Which, there'll be a signature little movie sequence, not a movie sequence, but like a little bit of music to play for that affinity of character and the tier. So many little details that cool. Even if the overworld is a little bit boring, there are going to be moments where you have to go into Sancta Mesa. You got to recharge your characters. You got to fuse characters. You'll be able to then go. You might go, okay, that was fucking crazy. I just got that massive character. I'm kind of want to use it now in the auto battler or survival or whatever. Yeah. Now you feel like you're slowly chipping away and building that team up, and people need to realize that there is a full loop that we haven't shown. Like, we've shown it in the overworld, but it's going to get really, really good in some small areas.
Yeah.
And it's just exciting.
See, and the thing you say, like, you say it's not going to be like from Horizon Forbidden West or Tomb Raider or something like that, but it's not meant to be, is my view. It's like, if you look at how basic Pokemon as a game was and still is, I mean, they had Pokemon Legends Arceus and, like, that's open world and stuff. Like, just putting an open world, even if it's not polished, just adds to immersion in an already known, like, really enjoyable game loop. And, like, you talk about the fusion and stuff. I don't know if I was the only one that does this. Like, even today when I play Pokemon games, like, I normally play, on mute, just turn the volume off. As soon as I'm evolving something, I crank the volume right up, and it's like it's like that moment. And so it's like you're gonna have those same moments, but you're gonna have more theater to them, which is going to make it more engaging. So the fact that you're going to have the open world in itself, you're going to have weapons to use and stuff like that to use in an open world, which gives it doesn't have to be like combat. It's like, it just gives you something extra to add to the immersion of the gameplay. And then you have all those bits that everyone loves anyway, but they're going to be more addictive because of the presentation. I think that's a good loop. And then obviously you just put other players in the open world, give them hitboxes, and then you got PvP shooting them each other, and that's it.
We've hit a point now, right, where like certain things like the fundamental gameplay and stuff like that, we've made the hill or the mountain or fucking Everest 10 times steeper than it had to be. But now I think people need to realize now, with the market and everything like that, personally, I don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? I just want to make a good game. But people need to realize now that kind of gives us you've got to, like, in order for anyone to bring the whole crypto Web3 own your assets vibe back without being scammy, something has to be fucking god tier.
Yeah.
If it's not, if it's half-assed, people are going to shit all over it again, and we're going to be straight back where we were. So the pressure now, it's like we didn't have competition in this space, and now it's kind of, I feel like I'm rejuvenated a little bit, because it's like now we're competing against the end boss itself,
because
entire fucking market.
Because like, and that's the great thing about the bear market is like, you it's now like having a play to earn game isn't what's selling a game now. It's having a good game is what's going to sell a game.
Good game.
And I feel like
game.
I feel like for you guys, I don't know how you feel about it. Like depends on how engaged and stuff in the general shit you were. But it's like now that it's like this and everyone's getting down on everything and it's like just sad times. It's like I don't know if you guys feel like you don't have to pander and like promote and stuff like that as much. And it's like now you can just work. And now it's like you guys can just like laser focus on developing the best game without having to stress about that side as much, because those people who were only in it for the money are probably gone now. So it's like now it's all about the game, all about delivering the best product you can, and just the gaming experience. And that's the big thing. Like I feel like the problem in the space is the first thing anyone says is, oh, it's a play to earn game, it's a crypto game. It's like, no, the first thing you should say is it's a sick game and you can, you can sell your shit. Like, so like to me, it's not even the crypto side of it. I don't even give a shit. It's like if traditional games let me sell my stuff, that's good enough for most gamers. You know what I mean? To be able to like just sell the shit. Like, I don't care if it's on crypto or whether it's like, held by the company. Like, I don't care. But like, it's the ability to play video games like trading card games where you can actually trade and sell the stuff. Like that's the fundamental of it.
Bro, I'm in the same boat as you. I don't give a shit about crypto. It's the whole space has kind of, I could just fucking lie and just try and shill crypto as this amazing thing. Seeing the depravity of people over the last 18 months trying to shill dog shit, scams everywhere, just no passion, just a bunch of rookies entering the space with no career history backing them to pull anything off. It's just kind of I've gotten through it by telling myself that we're not competing with these projects and teams that we never were, but just seeing it, man, just seeing our own people get scammed and shit like that. Like, kind of like, fuck this industry a little bit. Like, it's not, no one gives a shit about, and who invented web code or the internet. They just want to use the tech. Like, the tech, as innovative as it is, no one's going to give a shit about it, right? No one, once 20 games have
not end user gamers, no. But like, but by the same token, I still respect what, like, the back end stuff and those people can do, because I got no fucking idea. It's just when you look at games in particular, it's like, who cares? Just let me play a game that's good and let me sell my shit so I can get cash back.
If crypto had reached true core fundamental adoption for reasons of just like entertainment value and real use cases, right? If it had really crossed that threshold right now, we wouldn't be in this situation, because there would be some fundamental thing there that just always kept it relevant. And we've said from the day one, a good game can do that, right? A good game can do it. 10 good games need to happen to cement it. You can't just have one hit.
But the other thing is,
paving.
It can't just be a good game either, but it's got to have good economics and not be corruptible, like, type thing. So like it's a very big balance, because like if you make a really good game but the economy's fucked and you then have to deteriorate the experience of the game to cater towards the shit tokenomics and just economic model of the game. So it's like, it's definitely a balancing act, but at the end of the day, people just want to play a fun game.
The security side of things, like Kieran, Aaron, and myself didn't go into this with some security engineering background, right? Like, we bring a lot to the table, but certain things you just can't prepare for. And security, after getting hacked, it just fucking wouldn't anyone, like, if you had a Bellagio vault and someone robbed it, the next day you're going to be installing fucking laser turrets and anything you can to make that never happen again. And that slows things down, because it was something you didn't think was going to happen. And we've just had successful RevDiz tests put out and seen the positive effect that has. Like, may seem like dark times, but as a team, we weren't just here for the short run. And as people have seen as well, the team's stayed strong in terms of just believing long-term in the project. No one's quitting. no one's going fuck you all and leaving. Like
Yeah.
you don't do the work we did in the time we did and just bail on it for no reason. Like that was passion, and passion doesn't really go anywhere unless you get shat on, and we get shat on if the game's crap. That's when that passion goes. So
Yeah, 100%.
I think
I was gonna say, I'm curious to get your point of view from like kind of like myself, not like a crypto native coming into this. What's your view on players coming in with that whole security factor? Like it's like you've got to, set up your own wallet. You've got to hold your own assets. If you click the wrong link, you lose everything. Like that side of crypto is like one thing that I feel like is going to really hold the gaming back. And I just wanted to get your thoughts, because even for me, like I've been in the space for like a year and a half now. It's still like you get nervous holding on to that stuff, knowing that if you click a bad link or if you fuck something up, it's gone. So it's like you've got no fail safe as a gamer just to play a game. You've got to like go over the top with security and stuff just to play games.
Dude, I got hit real hard. I didn't tell anyone for a long time because I was kind of like, I didn't have a lot of personal savings going into this. And when it was all kicking off and everything was going crazy, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to put my own money in, and ended up losing like 80 grand AU that I put in. It was staking for like 9 months. And I just had this freak multi-hard drive failure. And after that, I was like, there you go. I've been burned just like everyone else in this space. Like I've been hit by it. So we're not building
that sucks.
clean, secure onboarding ramps with backup intervals and stuff in them. But maybe someone should, like, it is a scary thought. Security is a scary thought for us now. And we don't want to be that project that just got done with one foul bullshit. Sweet.
Yeah, even not on a project level. You just don't want to be that game where it's like, you're like, oh, look, we got a really fun game. And you don't want people to come in and go, oh, well, to play your game, I had to make a wallet and hold my own stuff. I would have been happy for you to hold it, but then I got hacked. And you just don't want to be like, oh, well, tough luck. You should have done your better security. It's like, it's that weird space.
I should probably speak to the security team, because I haven't in a long time, and just go over stuff, because there's got to be some kind of way to have snapshots or something like that. Like if you get scammed by a wallet that is confirmed, at some point a scammer, we can burn and
remint like
your NFTs or something like that. There's got to be
two absolute noobs just trying to suss this out. But like some sort of logical system. Like that'd be an interesting one. Maybe I'll have to chat with Aaron, because he'd probably have an idea on that too.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know the limitations or anything like that. All I know is that we've taken security
very seriously. Yeah,
we don't want to pay back people for a hack again, and like we paid people back for that, but we're not going to get credit for that when the game's out. It's not going to be some noble thing that people will look back on as life changing. Cool. It lets people know that we're not bullshit and just like every other scam. But that's now.
Or or it just makes the rug more elaborate when you do it. But
can you imagine though if it was? There's been a couple of like minuscule comments out there occasionally, like, oh, the Warwick brothers are gonna rug and shit like that. I got a fucking better chance of falling out that window. Like
it's funny. It's a funny one, but 100%.
This is a fight to the death. I tell you that, and we will be the last one standing. If every single other project gets annihilated over the next year or 2 years, we will fucking get through it. I tell you that.
But like, the thing is, even if the whole crypto side of things fails, like you'll still be able to release a game. Like
we made multiple jokes
without crypto.
Yeah, we were sitting there going like, do we just go back to Web 2 and just try and join the clubhouse with the normal people? There is too many good things with the tokenomics that will fundamentally change everything, but none of it matters. I personally don't care anymore. It's not a dig on our engineers, who are obviously freaks, but unfortunately, innovative tech gets bypassed by the feeling you get from using that, which is hopefully just everyone feels a part of the ecosystem. once the game's out, we still haven't experienced the whole, what if we make a big mistake with the game? And we have, and there's mainstream players playing. So there's 500,000, 1 million players playing the game competitively, and they're complaining about something. And then there's a valid comparison between another major studio that might have just continually done the same bullshit, and we said fuck it and veered off. There's going to be a lot of cool things that we set out to do from the start that we haven't yet, that will trickle in and make the complete form.
Yeah.
Right now, though, we're just
cruising.
We're just pumped to. We'll show as soon as possible that capturing flow. That's gonna be mind blowing. I feel that's gonna be. It won't be like anything else in another game. All of the best work we could put into it, we're putting into it, in every last detail. Like you saw, I was releasing the shards, right?
Looking super clean.
Anything collectible in this game has got to look cool. It's got to. If there are people out there who are 45 years old who are a little bit, like less Fortnite-y and just want to chill, they'll be able to collect things like that because we're implementing variations on all of them. You won't just be able to get like a tier 5 shard. If you mine it in Crimson, it will have a Crimson rock around it. If you mine it in Abyssal, the rock will be based on the Abyssal. If you mine it in Crystal Shores, it'll have a crystal exterior to it. All of this stuff's going to animate. Yeah,
kind
stuff
of like that sort of stuff. Yeah.
That's not final form stuff. It's got to get in the game. But that type of stuff, when there's 80 or so different tiers and combinations of tiers you can get, is going to be collectible. Like, I want a tier 5 shard from each region. Which region am I going to use that on for the character to get that tier 5 Rampfire? Like, little things, we will hit those goals. And I honestly cannot wait to show it. I think people are going to be like, whoa. Like, I haven't seen that yet. Like, I didn't know they were capable of doing that. So, and
I think the way of keeping it fairly well hidden until you got the full thing ready, then it's like you can't piece it together. It's like, wow, that's like the whole thing. That's a good way to do reveals. But you go.
I would love to cover more of the environment stuff. It's been a while since I've started like sharing other environments and stuff like that. I want to give, now that I'm back on AMA with you, like a kind of update on where that's going, why we haven't been sharing updates to all the different regions and stuff like that. So we learned a lot doing Crimson Waste, and to get a level to that quality took a lot of revisions. Like, we would do a set dress pass on it, review it, go in, tweak, do it, review it, tweak. In hindsight, now that we've got Mark Tingles on the team, who actually, I went to high school with him, and we were working at the same company when we were 18 years old. It's kind of weird now. There's like 10 different people I've worked with closely from my career on the team now. He's come on as the lead environment artist and allowed Dimitri to be like an assistant art director on the project. And he's totally overhauled the entire environment workflow and management, so that now, instead of just trying to go from zero to like a finished AAA environment, we're getting the fundamental block out right, the verticality right. We felt like after Crimson, we could improve and make the jetpack and jumping and movement mechanics a little bit more Tomb Raider-y. Not Tomb Raider, but
not completely free, but like
make areas in each level that are designed to be maneuvered through with our specific movement system. And that means that we've done way more effort on the block out side of things, while the asset team and our outsourced studio teams work on the final high poly assets.
Yeah.
And then we hit a point where once that block out is done, we start rapidly going in and set dressing over the top of it with the high res assets. And it doesn't require those, okay, this month we're going to do a review, the next month we're going to do a review. It goes from block out to final because we've already play tested mechanics, and it's purely graphical. We don't need to reset dress a highly detailed area because it just didn't jump right.
Kind of like early days when you were streaming the Crimson Waste and you were like, okay, we're going to put a path up here, and then you start creating the path up. That's all done on the block out, and then you're just putting the makeup on at the end.
Which, absolutely. And now we're at a point where we've Abyssal Basin, Brightland Steps, it's all in an advanced set dressing stage, and I just want to wait just a little bit more until we get. So those outsourced studios are doing that. We then at a certain point, right, go, okay, you guys have gotten it 80 to 90% of the way through. There's only so much we can direct you from our perspective at that point. So we need to take it back over and do the final set dress. And we are very close on both of those regions from doing that, which is when I'll get back on stream and start showcasing the look dev and the updates to those different regions. So the overworlds, we're now at a point where there's 5 regions that are well into development, with only 2 remaining.
Because you've even been shown the blockouts of Tiger Boreal and stuff like that as well. So like,
it's a masterpiece.
I mean, I can't wait for that one. Honestly, Stabbin's like the king, and I can't wait to get into that place. And just like, I feel like the like with how high quality you guys are doing visuals, when you've got ice involved, I feel like it's just gonna be crazy. I can't wait to see how that pans out.
There's certain things like, right, we've got so many assets being worked on now. I don't share everything. I know people say I leak everything, but there's a lot of stuff that's repetitive, boring, rocks, ice crystals, shit like that.
Yeah.
Cool. Like, it's not really that exciting. We've had just our asset zoo just filling and filling and filling. And I was telling people a year and a half ago, like, we're going to have thousands of assets that will form the basic Lego pieces for any future IP. Once that's done, if we want to go make a shooter, it's only going to be in one of those 7 regions. So that look dev, that art style will all be there, and it's just go build a level for a shooter or something like that. I'm not saying we're doing a shooter, but if we wanted to, the Lego pieces are there. Now we're at a point where, from an asset perspective, we're really close. We're like 95% done on all of the assets in the game. We've hit a point now where there's just a few variations on stuff we want, but as soon as we take over those environments from the outsourced studios, they will then get onto the next region. You know, they'll work on Crystal Shores and Shard Bluff, respectively, from the blockouts we've done, and do their set dress pass. And I can then start showcasing to the community what Abyssal Basin's like just like I did with Crimson Waste. And we've always said we're going to launch with the 3 regions. So we're going to get Abyssal Basin, Brightland Steppes, Crimson Waste, and Sancta Mesa. Sancta Mesa has been massively overhauled at the moment. Like, we are now, I'm working on the Leviathan ship to get that in. We've got the main hub in with an updated survival arena. We've got the Ascendant arena. Oh God, don't show me that. I've been staring at that thing for a year and a half.
Looking clean.
Slowly. I was like, there is no way I'm not doing this project without it having an iconic next level spaceship that people remember. Those updates are old, by the way.
Yeah, this is the most modern one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the most up to date. Where I'm trying to take it to like a fucking. I can see problems with it now, but like artistic, like something different, like a style that you haven't seen before. That's kind of blending that Illuvium style with a modern.
It's sort of like, to me, it's kind of like Halo Covenant meets Star Trek, kind of. I don't know. I feel like Predator. Predator and then Covenant. That's the mix. That's the ideal mix. Something like that.
And this ship has Gaudi built into it, so like
it's a massive ship.
It's a massive ship.
So you've actually put you know how in all the pictures you put like the character model. It's actually in there. It's just too small to see.
Oh yeah, it'd be I don't zoom in on that image.
Right. Yeah.
And zoom in. Keep zooming.
No, it won't let me.
Oh, okay.
It won't let me natural zoom anymore. But I can.
Yeah. I mean, I can maybe, if I stream my screen, will it?
No, don't stress, because I'm a shit streamer. I'll fuck it up.
No problems. Where did?
But yeah, like that Gaudi, like he's just going to be in like one section of this. That's because that's we're going to be where the
back at the top. So he's kind of like an R2D2, but next level.
Yes.
You know, similar to, we've taken inspiration from pretty much everything. I remember seeing a interview where the Wachowskis were being interviewed while they made The Matrix, and he kind of just sits there and ponders, and he's like, it's almost like we've put every good idea we've ever had into this one project. Like
Yeah.
and the Matrix basically was just this like amalgamation of like 20 different animes and short stories and shit they'd seen in their lifetime,
Yeah.
and just tried to weave it into a new thing. And it was like, we're doing a similar thing. I'll get on calls with Aaron all the time, and we sit there and go, how do we just weave something cool into this and just make it based on something we know is cool, but give it our own flavor? And it's like, you do that once, you're copying, you do it 200, 300, 400,000 times, it becomes our own thing.
Yeah.
And so just little bits of inspiration there. But yeah, Gaudi will, and there's lore into why the ship is able to pass through the force field and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool. There's a lot of interconnected things.
And with the ship, have you like designed the inside fully for it? Like, is that ship that we're looking at there, like, is that like fully designed on the inside as well with levels and stuff like that? Or is it literally just like the Gaudi type arena area that you've sorted out?
I've done some of the interior, right? But now with the recent updates I've just done to the exterior.
You got to update all the interior.
I stream. Like, after this call, I'm going to get back on stream for another 2-3 hours working on the ship.
Yeah.
So I love doing that. It's like one of the things I used to do in my previous business. I used to have a Twitch channel and we'd get like 300, 400 people watching me modeling. And now I kind of do it with like 3 people watching in CC streaming. But
you should just do it on Twitch again.
Streaming, yeah, maybe I should. But I kind of like, it's the other part is you never know when you're going to get a call. You never know when you're going to, just you get exhausted and collapse and, start foaming at the mouth. So
just hit stop streaming. That job done. Yeah, no,
I like
100%.
keeping it chilled. I like sharing with the community, kind of like because what I do when I do the hard surface stuff, I feel like no one else can do it. Like, it's an ancient art form in 3ds Max, and I take it very seriously, and that's why all of the sci-fi stuff in the game, and Roger has definitely helped me with a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
But the underlying look and feel of Illuvium comes from my hard surface style, and I'm very proud of it. And it's something that I think people will really appreciate because it's so clean. The lore of why everything looks like this allows me to do things in a way like there's no manufacturing restrictions. It's like, what would be the most ideal way to make a ship if you didn't have to nut and bolt things together, and if you could nanize things and stuff like that. So everything is like stripped back. There's no high frequency details. When you play this game in the final form, you're going to be able to run around and you will know it's Illuvium. That was a goal of mine on my hard surface stuff. And like with the ship where it's at, and I also leaked the Ascendant arena that I've been working on.
Yep.
That's the arena from the trailer. There's a lot of cool stuff that people were like, oh, is it just... A lot of people don't know what the final game's going to be like. They don't, like, it's hard to visualize the scope of everything. But we will have, by the end of this, 8 different battle boards. And the survival arena battle board, Aaron's idea was to make it a screen, like a holodeck screen around the board, where you can load in cube maps in UE4. A cube map is like a 3D projection onto a 2D surface of like another region. So if we made a set dress starfield, like you're out in comets or something like that, and there's planets around you or something like that, the holodeck will be able to visualize that, and you'll be able to rotate around the arena, the survival arena, and have that custom background.
That's cool.
The other thing that people don't realize is, and I kind of made a meme, there was a couple of people in the community going like, wow, someone really likes purple on the team, because everything Illuvium is purple.
Yeah.
Right? It's a 3-tone system where it's a chrome, a matte chrome, a black offset plastic, and then the purple.
Yeah.
And we will allow players to change that base color for the entire game. So everything has that tinge to it outside of skins. So if you don't like purple, if you don't like that the Sancta Mesa hub has those purple lines through it, and you prefer red or you prefer green, you will be able to unlock that ability in the user interface to get Gaudi to swap everything out. And so if you like yellow, you can play the game with that yellow offset. If you like orange, whatever. We haven't thought about
It's like your
implementing,
keyboard. It's like, you know, everyone has a different colored
100%.
keyboard. Yeah.
100%. You can't appease everyone.
Yeah.
So we keep all the leaks purple to reinforce that brand identity
Yes.
of Illuvium.
Keep it uniform.
But
Yep.
some people don't want that, and you'll be able to change it, which I think is awesome.
That's cool.
You know? We've kept things that 3-tone system so that everything will look good. If you change everything to red, it's all going to follow that thing. You're not going to have something red, then green, then purple, which ruins art direction.
Yeah, it kind of, this is a weird way that I get there because I'm not a Nazi person, but when I think about back when I used to play like Halo, I think it was Halo 3 when you could customize the colors on your characters. It's like my characters were always black, gray, or white with highlights, and then I'd always change the highlights on them depending on what I felt. And when you have black, gray, and white, no highlight looks bad in it because it doesn't contrast with the core colors of neutral colors. That's what I'm sort of thinking.
You know, like the ship you just showed was in black, and when I'm modeling and stuff like that, you'll notice that I sometimes swap between the different colors because good design needs to look good on any color. Yeah, like a Ferrari is going to look good.
Red, blue, yellow, black,
red. You know, it's just going to look good. And they keep, if you look at any major car manufacturer or sports car or anything super expensive and modern, they keep the materials to like a 3-tone system. It's like a black, a chrome, and a color. And they don't break it because if you break it, and then the neon glows and shit like that, which we also have, I guess.
Yeah.
But little things like that I think are going to be cool in our overworld. So I think I'm realistically just an update for people with when I'll start doing that streaming with levels. I'd say as soon as next week, I'm going to start showing the work Salvatore's done on the environment. And we've continued hiring too. We've got awesome new artists on the team coming on, working on new shit that we never would have had worked on without those people. So as of next week, I think it'd be a great time to maybe do a stream with Sanctimisa, show people the updates that we're doing, and then maybe in the coming 2 to 3 weeks after that, we would start streaming Brightland Steps and Abyssal Basin.
That's sick. Make sure you do add everyone pings in announcements when you're doing it, because I know a lot of people like just miss it when you're streaming.
I probably would, but a lot of the times, like I said, I just keep it low key, like whatever. Like they're going to see all this stuff in the game anyway. It's just for the people that like following along.
Hang in there. Too good, dude. Is there anything else you wanted to cover? Because I just looked down and we've been over an hour already.
No, I feel like I wish I could share the capturing workflow. I'll update you with the Hollow stuff tomorrow. I'll update you with because Hollows was something that I'll save it because we're just going through the final. You know how hard it is to, like, I was there with Kieran like 20 months, like almost 2 years ago.
Back in the Von Neumann days.
We were like, what? When that NFT project was, we were going to make that shitty, Pokemon NFT clone,
the 2D,
clone.
yeah,
with the shitty artworks. I was like, but we need to have like the Hollow collectible as well. And when that moment, I was like, what made Pokemon? Like, was it the Game Boy game? Was it? And I just was like, it was those fucking Hollows, man. Like, it was those Hollows. Like, that's what I remember deep in my soul. And I set about making the most impossible to recreate shader ever in V-Ray, which was like what I was known for in CGI before this. So this is like my ultimate, no one's topping it. Good luck. I'm out kind of thing. I'm never making another shader again and to lock that off and go, this is what it's going to be. It has to outdo Pokemon. It has to be desirable.
Did that change with UE5? Did you have to change anything in that system?
No, these are done in V-Ray. So these.
It's completely separate.
The Hollows in the game will have like a rainbow appearance to them. We might even add like a cool VFX to the surface of the skin and stuff like that. But we're going to tone it back a little bit. You don't want people just dropping Hollows on the board and it's like what character?
Yeah, but for the actual NFTs.
In your deck, the NFT, it's like the Hollows almost lesser quality than the main NFTs. Like all of the main NFTs will have 300 frames or 10 seconds of 4K animation with like motion blur and VFX added. It'll look like a cinematic character, like something Blur has created or Pixar has created. But the holos, it's kind of like distorted. Like we don't, because the way you have to encode.
Yeah, I remember Kieran trying to explain it to me in the first interview I ever had with him, and he was talking about the holos and how crazy it was.
A hologram is encoding all of the directional light information that struck that surface. Yeah. Like photons in the real world are just constantly hitting stuff, but the way a holo works is it's etching the surface kind of like a photographic film. So you have a plastic substrate, and it's just a lattice. It's a matrix lattice of atoms. But when light hits that surface at a certain angle, it will etch the surface, like kind of the atomic reaction down at the smallest molecular level, starts breaking away like little sheets that refract the light in that direction. So you can't wrap your head around how many atoms make up the surface. Like you zoom. Now you're at a cellular level. Now you got to keep going up another 1,000 times. Like it gets to a level where so much information can be encoded, and we hack that in a way. But the shader itself has to encode information from every angle so that while you're viewing it, and a lot of people could recreate the shader in a way that.
So you like it's the kind of thing in a still image you could get it pretty fine because you only have to account for a specific amount of angles. But when it's moving, you've got to account for all the angle changes as it's moving, and that's the tricky bit.
The trippiest thing about it is I'm sure if you said to a bunch of like expert shading artists, make a holographic shader, they would hack it. There would be some point where they go, nah, it's good enough. If you move the light, right, over a hologram in the real world, just moving the light source while your perspective stays the exact same,
changes everything.
Changes the holo.
Yeah.
So you don't move. You don't look around the holo to get that parallax.
Yeah.
But just moving the light warps the holo. We went there. Like that's where we went. Where it's like the shader network and graph just grows and grows and grows, and you're just like, fuck. Nice. But it's all procedural. Like it all weaves back into the raw renders we put out. So I would. That's on me and Dimitri. You know, like. I want to see streamers really want those. Like it's almost like the game's riding on it, like the collectibility of the game. If there's not that ultimate thing that everyone wants, it's game over in my eyes. Even though it will probably be kind of okay.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, like I said, like Illuvium's got the only model that makes sense to me, where it's like you've got controlled supply because you have different sets that'll come out, so nothing's forever, so you've got scarcity in that, and then you've got the sheer collectability value, and then you also have quality level being the IVs or the raw stats, the base stats of the different characters. So I think like in that sense, like Illuvium's just got the perfect model for scarcity plus desirability plus collectability, and I can't wait, dude. Can't wait. It's going to be sick.
I can't wait to show everyone as well. Like it might seem like dark times now, but we're going to start to pop off. I can tell you that. Like we're going to start to pop off. This team, if you've seen us from the beginning and where we've come from, it's only one way we're ending this shit, and it's victory over every other project.
I love it. The competitiveness is great. All right.
Cool.
I'm losing my voice, dude. I am cooked.
Yeah. I'm cooked as well.
Now you're about to jump on and stream.
For 10 hours.
Nah, dude, as always, man, I really appreciate you coming on. I know I was pestering you a bit, and then you said...
No, man. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, 100%. And then you hit me up and I'm like, okay, let's do it. So yeah, I'm glad you came on. There's actually a lot of stuff in there. I'll go through it and sort of
Mostly
clip
just
it up a
shit
bit.
talking.
It's a good bit. That's all my interviews are, is just shit talking with a few good nuggets. But hey, nah, it was awesome, man. But
Cool, man.
as always, dude, thanks. Really appreciate you coming on.
No problem. Thanks, bro.